All right, welcome back to the Balanced Diet of Teletainment at the Good Morning Niger show. On this very, very casual day, we get a very special guest, as we don't already mention, a casual guest in the building. Now, we don't talk about dyslexia twice in the past on top of this couch, but now we still want to emphasize on dyslexia. If I will follow us, the 2 times we talk about it, I'm going to want to say, waiting be dyslexia. Now, the month of October now is set aside to create awareness about people who they live with dyslexia. Now, when I say people they live with dyslexia, no be say now one kind of disease where we say if they get and they go die, you know, as some people will not understand. But the person who we get in the house now, she's now the director of Dyslexia Nigeria. She's now doctor of philosophy, and she in the best position to explain what in dyslexia be and how they take affect us. More now join us to welcome Dr. Adrienne Tikolo.
Now, good morning.
Very good morning to you, doctor.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. I hope I get the name well.
You get them all.
Tikolo.
Well.
Oh, okay, very, very, very nice. All right, now you're the director of Dyslexia Nigeria. First of all, we would like make you explain to us what in Dyslexia Nigeria be and what in then they do before we now come into what in be dyslexia itself.
Okay, thank you. Dyslexia Nigeria na NGO, and we set them up say make we help all children and adults we get dyslexia reach their full potential. I say our people don't know what in be dyslexia. And many teachers no fit understand what it be self. So that's why we set up Dyslexia Nigeria. It's like an NGO.
All right. Now, so what be dyslexia itself?
Dyslexia is na specific learning difficulty where they affect all the things where we need as person to learn to read and write and spell. You know, and it also affects our working memory, things where we feel remember, and organization and sequencing in school. So you go fit see and well for children where they find difficulty learning to read and write and spell.
Okay, now at what age you go feel say the child don't read before you go feel understand say okay this speaking bless say get dyslexia I be blessing now, and then how you go feel differentiate dyslexia itself from other learning issues, maybe say the child slow, the child dull, at what age and how?
Thank you. Dyslexia na specific. That's why we call them saying a specific learning difficulty. So it is specific to reading, writing, and spelling. No be say just everything general. In fact, most dyslexics, dyslexia know they affect your intelligence. So you go feed they very intelligent self and still have problem to learn to read and write and spell. Now different things we feed they see in different ages of the children. So if a child is in nursery, when it's still very small, it will not be able to rhyme words. Some simple words where you know you go to forget, say na spoon or na fork, you know go remember. Sometimes you know go know whether na right hand or na left hand you want to use today, you go use right hand tomorrow. And then even the alphabet, because of the sequencing, sometimes you know go fit remember the order of the alphabet or days of the week, you know, and even the sound of letters, you know go remember those ones too when they're small. But when they enter primary school, you could now they have more difficulty learning to read. And even when he learns to read, when he's reading, he go to throw away some of the words inside. Simple words like to, at, where if it know even before go, they forget them. And when he read, he will not remember. Comprehension is also a problem. And usually when they're little too, they know the quick talk many times. Sometimes 2 years before they go start the babble, butterfly. And what they're saying is will not be very clear. You know, and then the writing can also be affected, you know, and the writing can be very poor as well. And so there are different things where you go to see at different stages of the children up to adulthood.
Okay. Now, one quick question I want to ask. Now, and very importantly, of course, with all these challenges where the child will get dyslexia, go they get and go they experience when in day school, you know, the possible say the thing will affect the child performance for school. And if it does affect its performance in school, that means say maybe the child was supposed to promote go another class. Because nobody say he no book, but because he no fit express himself, he get this issue, they no go fit promote him. How you feel say this child go fit manage? Because obviously, if he even affect the child psychologically.
You don't talk through. See, dyslexia, because when you do school, the way you go do your exam, na reading, na writing, na spelling, and if you no go fit do that one, even if you know the thing, you no go fit write them down, so you go to fail. If you fail, they go say you know pass well, they don't want to promote you. Whereas the child is intelligent. If to say an oral exam you give the child will do very well. So many times they feel they hold even dyslexics back. Instead of make them face waiting be the problem and I help the child to do better. Many dyslexics, they get a lot of frustration, you know, and depression. And even though we think that it doesn't affect children, but it does. And many of them, they are bullied in school because their friends go to make fun of them and say, you don't feel read, you don't know anything. Even though the child is quite intelligent, they know they give him chance. You know, and he can be very frustrated. Sometimes if it be like even the clown in the classroom, as people think, say, you know, no book now, you go to make trouble or they make people laugh just to distract from that his deficiency. But he's usually quite very intelligent.
Okay. Now, Dyslexia Nigeria, what will be some of the challenges, the biggest challenges one I don't get in trying to convince parents or teachers or probably school owners, say they get some students for this place where we don't notice, say they get dyslexia and they need special attention?
You see, for different groups, the challenges, they well. Most people go say nothing they wrong with this child. Now only be say you no fit read. They no go understand, say that thing where they do am, now something they cause am. They go, they say, not be my portion, or God forbid. They don't want to hear that the children have a specific problem. And a lot of the parents especially, they know they want to hear, say, something to their child. Though. And, you know, dyslexia, they say I'm like hidden difficulty or disability. It's not something where you go fit see. So they know they believe, say this thing even exists. For teachers, many of them, because they see that result for classroom. So when you tell them, they say, okay, I know this child, where this thing they do. But many of them don't know the science, which is the reason why they don't even know how to help the dyslexics.
Okay, so how will I take they help the parents or the teachers to identify and then to work with these children who get dyslexia?
Okay, so we they do training we they do training for parents and workshop. We they do for teachers how you go take note, say a child get dyslexia, how you go teach the child, what do you go do. We also they do screening and assessment because just like say you get headache, you need to go doctor. Go know whether that headache na malaria or na typhoid or na waiting. You can't just diagnose yourself. So we they do screening and assessment. Okay, all these things, share na true na dyslexia. So we will do screening, we'll do assessment. With that, we go know waiting they wrong exactly and waiting we go fit do. So we also do that. So we do training, we do teacher training, parents workshop, training for even employers because we have dyslexic children, they all grow up to dyslexic adults. True. You know, and we also, they do one-to-one tuition because many times dyslexic, they don't fall back for school well. Because they don't fit to read, they're not doing so well. So they go need one-to-one specialist tuition. So they do that one too. After we do the screening, we go know which area they need that attention. We can't teach them.
Okay. Now, like you rightly mentioned, you know, children, they grew up with dyslexia, can't become adults, they for their body. Now, I know, say, you know, the awareness on dyslexia or concerning dyslexia, as far as this country they're concerned, it no go down past 10 years, between now and the past 10 years, or maybe even just 5 years. Meaning, say, we get plenty people who don't grow up with dyslexia, not knowing, say, they get this particular issue. Now, we don't largely talk about dyslexia management in children. How about adults, people who don't grow up? Any hope there for them? What do they feel do if they get dyslexia?
Hope always there. There's always hope. The thing be say, find out, shey na dyslexia true, because other learning difficulties dey. Just because a person no fit read or no fit do something, no mean say na dyslexia. So you go first find out for you. But adults, they don't get strategy where they take the cope with themselves. But we teach them how to further cope. We dey show them the technology where they go use, where go help them. We dey teach them, say, yourself, if we go need to reframe, say, understand, say, this now who you be. And then play to your strength. So they help them find their strength, you know, and then teach them, this is not the area you go do well, you know, this is not the thing you go do well in, and then show them the technology they can use to help them.
Okay. All right, now we know say October na Dyslexia Awareness Month. And I believe that they get some programs we want to line up concerning dyslexia awareness for this month. Waiting be the things we they do. Increasing awareness for dyslexia. This
month, na special month for dyslexia. So don't talk am. They go schools where go talk to the children, talk to the teachers. So we're doing what we're calling school talks. We also have free teacher training at this time. So they train teachers for free at this time. We also get towards the end of the month to go do free screening too, you know. And then we won't organize dyslexia walk. So people. For awareness, so more people go know, say this thing there, and there's something that can be done about it.
Which area when I want to take this work from?
We want work for mainland, and for mainland we want to do work.
All right, beautiful. Now, if people want to know more about dyslexia, they want to reach you now, what will be your online presence? Social media, maybe?
Yeah, so we get a Facebook page, Dyslexia Nigeria. We get Instagram page self at Dyslexia Nigeria self. We get Twitter, dyslexia_NG. And we also get website to www.dyslexianigeria.com. You can feel reach us for all those platforms. All our phone numbers, they're there, and all our email addresses too.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Adrienne Tikolo. Your name very, very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right, now the casual guest who we get in the building this morning, and she don't talk about dyslexia inside Nigeria. What be dyslexia, how you take identify dyslexia, and how you go take help a dyslexic child and even an adult. October, now the month for dyslexia awareness. So if you notice anybody will get some of these signs or symptoms which she don't talk about, just maybe this person get dyslexia. Remember, say no be death sentence, so no be say the person go die. Now just cognitive and learning disabilities, which can be worked upon.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.